The weekend's finally drawing to a close, and I think it's time to slow things down with a little bit of a history lesson. Gay history, obviously. In this week's video, I'm taking a look at two historical figures that have been forgotten by mainstream media, who shouldn't have been forgotten. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Over 70% of my viewers aren't subscribed yet, and it will really help with the algorithm if you give me a thumbs up and like. No wait, that's the same thing. If you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get on with the video.
Follow the yellow brick road.
First up is actor David Manners. I've covered David Manners on this channel in the past, but the audio quality is really bad. David Manners was a Canadian-American actor, and I look like a robot, and paved the way for Manners to work in Hollywood, so I feel I did him a dishonor. With that said, let's start the video. David Manners was born on April 30th, 1900 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. In 1907, his family moved to New York City, where his father worked as a literary advisor. Manners initially followed in his father's footsteps, working as an assistant publisher, but he soon discovered a passion for acting while studying forestry at the University of Toronto. Manners made his acting debut in 1924 at the Hart House Theatre in Toronto. He then moved to New York City, where his big break came in 1930, when he was cast in the film adaptation of the play Journey's End. Manners is best known for his roles in early horror movies. He played John Harker in the 1931 classic Dracula alongside Bela Lugosi. The following year, he starred in The Mummy, and throughout the 1930s, Manners appeared in numerous films, often cast as a dapper leading man. David Manners married Suzanne Bushnell in 1929, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1931. In 1948, he began a long-term relationship with Frederick William Bill Mercer, which lasted until Mercer's death in 1978. After retiring from acting in the early 1950s, Manners lived a quiet life, focusing on writing and painting. Manners passed away on December 23, 1998 in Santa Barbara, California.
Roger Casement. Now his last wish was granted nearly 49 years after his execution in England on a charge of high treason. For Ireland, this reinterment of a national hero is the fulfillment of a long-held wish.
Next, we take a look at a gay historical figure the history books want you to forget about. In a nutshell anyway, otherwise this video would be way too long. Sir Roger Casement was an Irish diplomat and humanitarian activist. He initially worked for commercial interests in Africa before joining the British colonial service in 1891, where he served as British consul in various locations including Portuguese East Africa, which is now called Mozambique. His 1904 Congo report led to significant reform in Belgian colonial rule, and his 1912 Putumayo report exposed the exploitation of indigenous workers in the rubber industry. For his efforts, he was even knighted in 1911.
On this day in Irish history, Patrick Pearse denies any rumours of an Easter rebellion to volunteer Chief of Staff Owen MacNeill. The Irish Republican Brotherhood had planned a rebellion with the aim of establishing an Irish Republic while Britain were actually preoccupied with World War I. While all this was going on, Roger Casement was on his way back from Germany with German guns and ammunition for the rising.
He was part of the 1916 Easter Rising, which was an armed rebellion aimed at ending British rule in Ireland. Unfortunately, he was arrested upon his return to Ireland, convicted of treason, and executed on August 3, 1916. What makes him of historical importance is not the fact that he was stripped of his knighthood and other honors for his part in the rebellion, but rather that the government tried to erase the work he did for the government before the rebellion. Why? Because he was an alleged homosexual. Before the trial, the British government used passages from what was labeled his personal journals, personal entries that described his encounters with other homosexual men. Debate about these diaries still continued to this day. A handwriting comparison study in 2002 concluded that Casement had indeed written the diaries.
We know that rumour during wartime has an extraordinary power over the public imagination, and quite quickly the stories of these diaries mushroom into some really very scurrilous accusations being made against Casement, and the idea that this man couldn't be held up as a hero because actually he was sexually transgressive, as we would say today. But we have to understand that homosexuality in 1916 was a very different state of being than it is in the 21st century. Therefore, some would make the argument, or the argument at least can be made, that Casement was executed for his alleged sexuality, which is very interesting.
I have to give a shout out to the viewer who suggested Sir Roger Casement to me on my second channel. By the way, if you don't know, I have a second channel where I show you what life is like in a tropical beach town, if you want to check it out. Anyway, back to Sir Roger Casement. I have to agree with this comment, and it's really sad that his legacy and his efforts to free Ireland from British rule was sort of swept under the rug. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but it will help with the algorithm. You can also check out some of the other great videos on this channel by clicking on this link over here. I'm not gonna overburden you with 2 links, I'm just gonna put down one. I've also got another channel, my second channel, where I show you my daily life in a tropical jungle next to the beach, which you can check out by clicking on the link in the description. You don't have to, but it's fun. I could use with the views on that channel. So I'll see you in the next video.